when they are very small, it could be a conflict of where they sit. You know, they want a particular seat. They want a particular position as the class monitor, or you know, the person who carries the books with the teacher or something. Then the conflict changes. The dynamics may change because of a certain perception of the child, that a child is given some importance either by the teacher or the school, not because it could be because he's very good, or he's perceived by the teacher as being very good, but many times because what positions their parents hold. So, you know, it very quickly disseminates to everybody that so-and-so's child is the minister's son, or is a commander's son in an army school or whatever. And then everybody treats him as if it's the father's incarnation in class. And then there's a conflict with the other children. Like, you know, we are all kids. Why is this person given importance? If there is. It's a trained conflict mediation group. It will be absolutely fantastic. But I definitely think that they have to be trained to understand what mediation is. It just cannot come, you know, like a lot of people think that everybody can be a psychologist. No, you have to have a certain training in it. So if it is a trained mediation group, fantastic, it will be very good. And it should be in the sense that it should form part of the school community. There could be a teacher, there could be a principal, there could be a parent and students. So largely, a student will be more useful in putting the conflicts to rest. The parent can intervene while talking to another parent. The teachers can intervene to see that it doesn't form any kinds of more conflicts between teachers because of that kid. So, and the principal, because I think she gets an overview of the whole thing. 100%. Because I think if we are able to resolve conflicts, we are able to do a lot of things. Because half of our time, even in a classroom, you're all aware, when a teacher enters a class, I think about 5 minutes goes in getting the class to listen to her. And if that 5 minutes could be to just discuss if you have any problems, or let's, you know, catch up since the last day, it would be so much more useful rather than disciplining, putting children in this thing, or trying to resolve conflict. And I think most of the time that of a principal in her management avatar goes in, you know, resolving conflicts. It could be conflict of books not received, it could be a conflict of a tiffin box getting lost, it could be a conflict of a teacher not correcting, it could be a conflict of two children fighting. So all the time I think the principal is also wasting a lot of her time in resolving conflict and trying to find solutions. But if there is an agency in the school which does it, I think it will be a very win-win situation. We have a counselling cell, not a very active one.
So, ma'am, so as much as I know in my education institute and a lot of education institutes, I see counselling as the mechanism that they usually use when there's a conflict or a problem.
Exactly.
So, do you think that's a better option than mediation?
No, I think it's you can't choose one to another. I would think both the parties will have to work in you know, in coordination and in collaborative way. The counsellor could get the inside story of the life of the child in school, at home. The mediator could find ways of putting, you know, a system where there is a discussion on, you know, who's right, who's wrong, and how can we get the middle path. So I think it will have to be collaborative. And what you know, people have to understand that we all have conflicts. And why should we be sad about a conflict or waste a lot of man hours in being dumped or being unproductive because of a conflict? You know, many times we don't want to meet another person because that person is coming there. We don't want to go to a wedding because that person said something to me. But it all can be resolved if there is a conflict resolution you know, mechanism in place. And I think it's very important in every field. In day-to-day existence, in relationships, in schools, in colleges, in just a community also. I mean, there's a conflict of who kept the garbage bag. You know, as soon as we enter a train, there's a conflict of who will put the saman where. So it starts with that, isn't it? When you're standing in the line, somebody walks up and you say, you think I'm a fool to be coming on time and standing, and the conflict starts there. If we are able to understand the mechanisms of resolving it, I think It's also a mechanism which helps people to be calm, because when you know the solutions, when you know the two sides of a conflict, you're able to actually laugh off a conflict. See, I have to tell you one thing, that before you begin anything, the principals or the heads of schools have to be taken into confidence through a workshop or something, where they talk about what is the potential of a mediation center or of a mediator. And once they're aware of it, I'm sure they're open. Not many people know about it. So it's more of ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.